Hello and welcome back to the Road to Doomsday. The Road to Doomsday shit. Hello, welcome to the Road to Doomsday, the MCU REWATCH show brought to you by the Nerd Academy podcast. Except no substitute. I don't know. Maybe the other guy has a better intro. I am your host, Jared Bachman Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is the lovely Miss Taylor.
Hello.
And we are here. We are making our way. We are drawing to the end of the Infinity Saga altogether. Not just Phase 3, but the Infinity Saga. Not a whole lot left to it, all things considered. We are talking about Thor Ragnarok today.
Some may
So
say the best movie of all time in the MCU.
some may say people are
People are
saying
saying.
the Grandmaster, a good friend of mine,
Ooh,
Grandmaster and I went to an island.
you better not.
You don't think that you don't think the
Do not
Grandmaster?
insinuate hometown hero has ever been remotely around an island like that.
I'm saying the Grandmaster. I'm saying Grandmaster, not Goldblum. Not Goldblum. Grandmaster. Big difference. But like I said, we're talking Thor Ragnarok. The introduction of a polarizing Mr. Taika Waititi, as well as a massive tone shift for the mighty Avenger. One that some liked at first and have turned on. Some people claim they never liked to begin with. One that some would say is a net positive and a marker of significant growth for the character. And a big idea that we will talk a lot about throughout the episode. But before we jump into the meat and potatoes, as it were, Taylor hitting the whip on the meat and potatoes this evening. A brief word from our sponsors over at Sunday's Bloody Mary. You guys know the drill. Sunday's Bloody Mary has the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement in the multiverse with their 3-time award-winning spicy mix as well as their mild and traditional mixes if the spice isn't for you. This former bartender trusts only one Bloody Mary mix, and that is Sunday's, the only Bloody Mary mix better than a from-scratch Bloody. Use the link in the description down below or use the code.
Get it in time for the Super Bowl.
Get it in time for the Super Bowl. By the time this is out, you are not getting this in time for the Super Bowl. So patrons, $5 and up, get it in time for the Super Bowl.
And then tag us after
Yes.
you use code
TNAP at checkout to
out.
get 10% off your order and help out your favorite nerds while you do it. But Taylor, before we start talking about background and the movie itself, are you ready for some Thor Ragnarok trivia?
I am ready. Audio commentary listeners will know that I already won.
I was hoping to get a laugh out of Taylor by having it be that basically asking name one of the Star Wars characters that Clancy Brown, voice of Surtur, has had, which he has had many. He
Don't
plays
care.
Ryder Azadi in both Star Wars Rebels and Ahsoka.
Don't care.
He plays the big Davaronian in The Mandalorian, but most importantly to Taylor, he plays Savage Opress in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. But Taylor
My
already figured
baby.
that out.
My baby. He played my most precious boy.
Yeah.
Oh, a sweet little baby boy who did nothing wrong ever. And honestly, it is one of, I think, a core memory of mine in Star Wars was the Savage Opress arc in the Clone Wars because Jarod was so sure I was gonna love the Night Sisters and like go be like hard down for them.
I really thought you were going to become like a diehard Mother Talzin stan.
And I cried real tears at like
And yelled at me.
10:30 in the morning on like a Saturday.
No, it was in the afternoon. Because
Either way.
I remember looking out the window into the daylight, going, "She's not going to finish the Clone Wars," and it's because I accidentally talked so much about the Night Sisters.
I
A faction I don't even care. I don't even care that much about.
I was fully sobbing watching Savage Opress have to kill his like I actually couldn't watch it. I
Yeah,
still
you
haven't
didn't
watched
you
it.
didn't watch that scene.
I couldn't.
But
Farrell never deserved any of this. Savage never deserved any of that. And then I
from
heard then I was like, wait a second.
brother,
Is that my king?
For well, because you said crabs at
I
first.
did, of course, because obviously, if I'm like, wait, that's Clancy Brown. That's the number one thing he's ever done.
For more on Taylor's experience at the Clone Wars, go check out that episode of KNR. It's one of my favorites
Mm,
of checking with Taylor once we finish TCW. But jumping into our trivia for today, I only got 3 questions for you.
okay.
What Hulk storyline from the comics is very loosely adapted in Thor
Oh,
Ragnarok?
isn't it? It's the Sakaar. It's him, the king of whatever, like the planet thingy.
You're really close to the title,
Yeah,
Planet Hulk.
whatever. And he has a
Uh,
baby here too somewhere,
yeah, I mean
just running amok.
yep. Well,
And time works different here.
we'll get to that soon. Soon, air quotes, on Road to Doomsday. Catching back up with that kid at some point. But yeah, I mean, basically, it's the broad strokes of like Hulk is a gladiator
Yeah,
on a planet called Sakaar in a gladiator ring run by the Grandmaster. Korg and Meek are there. That's about
Meek,
it.
my favorite character. You mean?
Yes. Where did Thor's now iconic "he's a friend from work" line draw inspiration from? This is a wholesome one.
Oh, I don't know.
A Make-A-Wish kid received
Uh,
their wish to go on set of Thor
I
Ragnarok
do know this one. Yeah, that's so
and
cute.
suggested that when Thor see the Hulk, he get excited and say, "I know him. He's a friend from work."
That's so cute.
And to continue making this episode dedicated to one of Taylor's favorite movies, uh, your last question. What actor plays Odin in the play being presented on Asgard?
Wait, what actor plays Odin?
Yes. I wasn't going to give you the gimme with Matt Damon
I was
or the
hoping it was
lesser
Luke.
Hemsworth.
I don't know. I didn't pay attention to him that all that much.
I will give you a hint. He plays one of your favorite characters in all of cinema. Longtime listeners, or I shouldn't say long time, but loyal Nerd Academy listeners know exactly what's about to happen.
I'm so scared because I don't. Because
So
you
you're
want to know, genuinely, do you want to know what my immediate answer was?
what?
Well, it couldn't be the shark from Jaws.
Right director though.
Alan. Alan.
Sam Neill. He was just coming off of being in Hunt for the Wilder People with Taika Waititi, and Taika asked him if he wanted to be in Ragnarok for a bit part.
That's so
Um,
funny. I'm so I
I forgot it was him, and while we were watching the movie, I went, "Oh, I have an excuse to play the Alan clip."
I love the Alan clip. No, I just am so embarrassed that my immediate thought was
It's not the shark from Jaws.
like that was 100% a straight from my brain. Well, it's not the shark from Jaws.
Incredible, absolutely
Because I was like, well,
incredible.
it can't be Anthony Hopkins because obviously I was talking to The Lambs is one of my favorite movies of all time. So obviously
Right, Hopkins is spoken for,
Hopkins is playing a silly little guy, which is my
except for when
favorite thing in
he's
the
not.
world.
Except for when he's not.
No, no, in this specific scene,
No, yeah,
he is
yeah.
playing a silly little guy.
It's Hopkins playing Loki playing Odin.
Yes.
In the
And it
words of Iron Man and Doctor Doom, he's the dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
and he is the cutest I've ever seen.
Yes. But For a little bit of background, announced in 2014, Thor Ragnarok set out to, in the words of Taika Waititi, dismantle the Thor franchise and redefine it. With Waititi in the director's chair and earlier writers returning to work on this end to the Thor trilogy. Chris Hemsworth said he looked forward to lightening the tone of Thor from the dramatic grimness his previous adventures with a colorful setting and sense of humor to help drive this new tone home. Taika Waititi had a heavy emphasis on improv and ad-libbing throughout the filming process, allowing for the free-flowing humor the film is known for, with Mark Ruffalo comparing Ragnarok to a buddy comedy akin to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Thor Ragnarok had a budget of $180 million and made $854 million at the global box office.
Okay, that's a win, I would say.
That's a really good box office draw, and for comparison here, Thor movie box office.
Money is just abstract numbers to me, so
So to kind of hammer home the increase here, approximately 450 million for Thor.
Mm-hmm.
It's only
Thor:
showing
The Dark
me
World wasn't that in $1 billion movie?
Thor: The Dark World was not a $1 billion movie. It's not showing me the global box office, but I know it made more than the first one. And then Ragnarok sits at 854. So a $400 million increase from the first movie. And granted, part of that is the MCU is now a pop culture type.
MCU-ification, yeah.
Every like the MCU, like it does not matter what movies are coming out, they're going to make money in the hundreds of millions at least. And if there's an event, and if it's an Avengers movie, you're staring down the barrel of $1 billion. You're staring down the barrel of $1 billion. So, yeah. Taylor, where were you when Thor Ragnarok came out?
Oh, I think I was, I don't know. Now that we're getting to like the kind of towards the end of like MCU premieres as far as like when they came out in time, because this was pre-pandemic, yeah?
2017.
Okay. Once we get past there, then it's just God, it's terrible. I mean, not for us. We got together and it was cute and romantic and beautiful. But like from a storytelling point of view. Because like for this one,
we were getting
It's
precipitously
2017.
closer to the current day
yeah,
for
it's
us. But not that
2017.
much.
I was in college. I wasn't doing anything really at all. I loved this movie when it came out. Of course, because my king is in it, Loki, and my queen, Kate Blanchett. I have a lot of feelings, a lot of big feelings about her. But if you want to know them, you have to. I can't talk about them here. I'm legally not allowed. Um,
Why do you
to
make it
talk
always sound so scary?
because I have a lot of things that come to mind whenever we're watching a movie, and I just let them rip. I just let them rip. Okay. And now I'm on camera, so like I'm like looking at myself, and I have to like confront my own what's the words that are coming out of my mouth.
I have to confront the words that are coming out of my mouth.
So I don't want to say them here. Yeah, it makes me blush.
That is so funny.
Yeah, I will say I at watching this movie, I was like, oh, are they going to adapt and I know they aren't because like of the little pieces we've already gotten of Thanos, but like I was like, oh, are they gonna adapt the like he's in love with Hela, the goddess of death? And I was like, because me too, babe. I would have done anything for her.
Taylor's like, I get it, I understand.
I fully would have been like, you know what, you would have got me. I would have been a Thanos truther. I would have been like, yeah, he's right, actually. He's fully right. He's fully right to do whatever crazy thing he wants. He's fully right to do. However, they did not do that, and then I was like, all right, now I have to have opinions about his motivation. Because I would have done anything for her. I still would.
Well,
Um, we
I know
just
for
watched this
me,
movie, so it's so fresh.
yeah, well, this is one of the ones
That
where we're coming
bodysuit
right out of watching it to record.
and that
Um,
sexy ripped bodysuit. When she first appeared in the meadow,
and she's looking rough.
Mama, I would have done anything she asked.
So I know for me, I
Jared's
didn't. I
like, all
mean,
right, let's pull back.
a little bit. I know for me, this one was like I was going to Thor Ragnarok. The buzz was great. I was excited for it. But again, like at the time, like me becoming a Thor appreciator is a road to Doomsday thing.
Mhm.
Like it did not occur to me how much I really did love this character and the journeys he went on. Or maybe they're just resonating with me more now than they did before. Um and I remember going, I was like, okay, cool, I'm excited. Like, we only have two more Marvel movies until Infinity War, I had this. But like where this is sandwiched, for me, did not do this movie any favors when it came out. Because I'm hot off the heels of goddamn Spider-Man being in the
Yeah,
MCU now. So I kind of went in going, well, nothing's going to
it's
reach
not going to
that
be
high.
Spider-Man.
It's not
Yeah,
Spider-Man. Nothing's going to hit that high except for an Avengers movie.
I just
And
realized why. Because the SpongeBob. Get it? I get it.
what'd you say?
I get. You're right. So,
It's fine. That did not occur to me until right before I pressed record. Because I was like,
yeah,
I want something fun and colorful for Ragnarok.
SpongeBob.
Uh, oi, Sponge Boy, me Bob, put me helmet on the eternal flame. But I was like, okay, it's not gonna hit the Spider-Man heights for me.
Yeah,
Like I said, I'm kind of middling on Thor anyway. I am super excited for Black Panther,
yeah,
which is next.
yeah.
Because
And
again, that was
Kendrick
in that
did the
like,
soundtrack and everything.
yeah.
Was
I
already
agree. I
kind of
didn't know
fresh.
that yet. We didn't
Well,
know that yet, which
wasn't like
became
I
a
thought
game
Crush was
changer.
already out for some of that stuff. Like
It
the
may have
fact that
been,
he
but I
was
don't think I
working on
knew it.
it. Like,
I didn't know about the Kendrick Black Panther soundtrack until they released All the Stars the week Black Panther came out. It was like a few days
ow,
before it came out, and then I couldn't stop listening to All the Stars. I was like, "Who's this SZA lady?" But so I was like, okay, so I'm up here for Spider Man, Thor, Black Panther's finally happening. Holy shit! And then holy shit, Avengers: Infinity War. So it's like everything is like way too big around it. I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna like make Thor funny so people like this fucking franchise again, or at all.
Jared
And
was not a part of the Loki mania here.
I was not a part of the Loki mania. I loved my Loki heads, but I wasn't one of them. And I loved Loki, but not like that. But either way, I
Mm,
remember when I went to
I
see this
love
movie.
Loki.
This
I
is
love Loki.
one of the Taylor knows I get antsy when we're gonna go see a movie, and I'm like, oh god, I hope we're not late. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm convinced that there's gonna be like two or three less trailers than normal, and then we're gonna miss it. I actually, when I first saw this movie, because of circumstances outside of my control, got there right about whenever Thor was interrogating Loki disguised as Odin, and completely missed the Surtur stuff at the beginning.
What? And you missed the whole play? Oh my God, you missed all of it.
I no. I got there like halfway through the play because everybody knew about the Matt Damon thing. So I went, oh hey, there's the Matt Damon thing as I was sitting down getting situated. Um,
Oh,
and I was a little miffed. Um, but this stuff like this is why I'm so like I have to be there. If I'm not there for the shitty like movie trivia segment before the movie, I'm going to freak out. Um, I was disappointed I missed it. Uh, so there's a part of me that whenever I watch this today, um, that feels like I'm seeing the Surtur stuff for the first time because I don't have that. I don't have a memory of seeing it in the theater like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now I saw the movie a second time with my dad and caught all of it. But even
Yeah.
then, like that first viewing, I don't. I when I'm watching the movie, I can't see myself watching the movie in the theater now until I get to about Thor arriving on Asgard for the
Yeah.
first time. But I came out of the theater loving it, and I remember being a little. I love Taika Waititi. I really do. I think he's a stupendous filmmaker, and I think he has a creative vision that I very, very much love. And he's such a unique voice. And I remember now looking back and going, "This is the beginning of me hating Taika Waititi discourse." Because I came home and I'm listening to Collider Movie Talk and I'm listening to, like I'm listening to movie reviews and everybody's talking about like, oh, like we finally care about Thor because he's funny. And I remember going, that's really weird. And I don't like the framing here. And this is one of those times where I was like, this thing is really good, but it's not good for the reason you particularly are saying, and it's making me angry. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember having conflicted feelings about how, like, oh, well, if Taika Waititi can keep making Thor movies and keep them funny, then they'll be good. And that's all anybody talked about was like, Thor Ragnarok was good because it wasn't too serious, and how you shouldn't take the movie too seriously, and that's why it's good because it's funny. And I just remember having a visceral reaction to that train of thought and not liking that trajectory. And, flash forward however many years, we see Love and Thunder, and then people are basically saying, it's bad because it's so funny and it's bad because of the humor. And I had an immediate defensive reaction of, I heard all of this when Ragnarok came out, but you said the opposite
Yeah.
fucking thing. So that's one of the reasons why I think Love and Thunder is the movie I'm the most excited to revisit, because
I
I
think
am really excited to like re-examine that movie, because I've never liked how people talk about Waititi. They either give him the world for the dumbest reasons, or they want his head on a pike for the dumbest reasons. And I just like the discourse is never in like a healthy middle for Taika Waititi,
I
and I
think
don't get it.
for the I think a lot of the issue with Love and Thunder comes from the fact that, and I think this is a very personal opinion of mine. I think a lot of the like, because I think some of the comedy is like a lashing, not in like a like like I feel like it's a little bit of a lashing out against like, no, this is mine. I made these choices, I made these decisions, and I'm going to double, triple, quadruple down on certain things because you fucked my shit up. And that is what I feel like happened with a little bit of the Love and Thunder like ball game. I feel like some of the choices that Taika made were a little bit reactionary towards the regression, in my opinion, that some of the characters and plots and storylines that he had made got in like Infinity War Endgame duo.
Maybe. I mean, like, I don't know, because there's a part of me that knows that there was a lot of like in simpatico,
It
like
feels
we
very
know that Thor is gonna have one eye at the beginning of Infinity War kind of things. Like these are things we're making the film knowing is going to happen. I don't
but
know. Like
the
I that
immediacy
is an
of
interesting
let's
take.
take that
Yeah.
out actually. All right, fuck that. Give him both eyes. Like we're not doing that. We're not doing that. The like okay. For me, one of the biggest things is the fact that Taika made like the Asgard is not a place, it is a people. He connected that bridge so eloquently. And I think the immediacy of which that was kind of catastrophically just demolished because it needed to serve the greater storyline. Because I think for me personally, I think this is where we start to get that dissension between like the directors who are having artistic views and like interpretations of characters are getting put in boxes with continuity things. Like I I know that like our next movie is Black Panther, and I know that had Ryan, like in my opinion, had Ryan Coogler had a fully like full reign, we would have gotten not only an amazing film, but like somehow it would have been deeper and richer because he doesn't have to. He gets to play with all the pieces without having to behold to a greater universe. I think that is unfortunately just a con of the MCU as a greater universe.
Maybe. I
Because
mean,
everybody can't have their realized vision without having to tie this or tie that. And I think when we get to the big pictures, so like the group films, the Avengers, we I think we get to see favorites, and I think we get to see um the decision by the like top of the food chain being like, actually, I don't like that you did that thing. So I'm just gonna like erase it in a way. And like I understand it's not really erasing it, but like for like let's take the eye thing as an example. That felt like something that they just didn't want to deal with.
yeah. I mean, I have more opinions on the eye stuff, and I don't want to muddy the conversation because I know how much this movie is that like quite literally leads directly into Infinity War. I think like we're kind of on a weird precipice of like I don't know how much of this conversation can happen without being too heavily drenched in talking about Infinity War, which we are
Yeah.
two episodes away from.
But I feel like also for me, this is one of my favorite, if not my
No, for
favorite
sure.
MCU movie, because this movie takes those moments and like takes those character beats and it's like, all right, let's just drill down on like five characters. Like let's stop you know, we don't have the Warriors 3 anymore because Hela kills all of them immediately.
Yeah, light work.
Because she's just like, all right, I'm not dealing with this. Like, we're not dealing with this plot. You are not even going to be a part of it. You're bye bye. Like we don't have the care. We don't have the time for you to have a story. We don't have the time for you to be characters. We are sacrificing you narratively so that way we can give more time to Thor's new outlook on life, like his more nonchalant, like I have learned everything I have learned. I'm going to take everything that I have learned and I'm going to just rock with it.
Right.
I think that this does that so well. I think it does a really great job of giving us everything that like I could like want from these characters. I like what we get Loki pretending to be Odin is Anthony Hopkins being a silly little guy. And it's very cute and it's so silly. And like you can see the Anthony Hopkins, like you can see his little eyes, like he's so cute.
Especially with how
Um,
quickly he bails on it when he realizes Thor isn't fucking around.
Immediately, yeah, because and also because the character like Loki knows inherently Thor's not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
He's calling my bluff. He, I, you got me. And for him to continue to play, like they play back and forth immediately. Like, you know, Thor is like, you have let the nine realms descend into chaos. And Loki's like, well, actually, we're doing super great here. Like everybody here, we're doing great. So like he's not the worst. He's just definitely not good.
Right. Well, I don't to kind of get like back like into like specific like topics and passages here because I like everything you're saying. I want to dive into all of it with their due. On the topic of Thor's arc, and I'm glad that's where you started because that is where I kind of want to start like the actual conversation here. I think, say what you will about Love and, or the Dark World, say what you will about the first Thor movie, we
Which was
really
great.
have, which is great, and his appearances in Avengers and in Age of Ultron. We see a really good and really like thoughtful progression for him
Mm-hmm.
where we see him truly evolving into the king he's meant to be. And that is such a brilliant it is such a brilliant arc because we see somebody who is basically shown back to like what the worst version of him could have been with Hela. Right? That so much of what he is at his worst in the first movie is the warmongering and it is the incredible arrogance and pride
Mm-hmm.
that he has that he is forced to grow out of. And then again, we talked about this going all the way back to the first Thor episode, that we can see that this is a man who Odin will not let become the same kind of problem he let Hela be.
Yeah.
And because he knows now what the problem was then, he's able to nip that in the bud. And because of that, Thor is able to grow into being a tremendous leader and somebody who legitimately inspires greatness out of others, similar to Cap.
Yeah.
Similar to Cap in the way
Yep.
that we see Cap inspire so many people. Like we see Thor be able to kick Valkyrie out of her kind of like self-hating drunken stupor.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she sees it and she's like, oh, look at all the Pollyanna fucking, you know, because that's what heroes do, bullshit. You're so full of yourself, you're so this, you're so that. And the longer Valkyrie is allowed to be around Thor, the more she goes, holy shit, you mean this. Like, you're about this life.
Mm-hmm.
And this matters to you. And I think that there's a huge beat when he goes, he's like, I don't care. And I agree. I agree that like the Asgard monarchy is broken. That doesn't mean I'm going to let the people die.
Literally, him being like, I have no want to be king. I'm only going back to save the people.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care what happens. I don't care if Hela takes Asgard. I don't care at all. Heimdall has a bunch of people in a mountain, and I gotta go get them.
Yeah. And that is somebody who would not be capable of doing that when we first see him in the first Thor.
Absolutely not.
You know,
Yeah,
like
the level of
doing
growth is he has come so far that there is like we said it so many times in the audio commentary, like the growth of him is so exponential, which is natural, especially like with the time frame of the MCU, how long it has been in universe. So like it would not make sense for them to be growing in the way that, but Thor is allowed to in a way that I feel like
yeah,
other characters can't be for plot reasons, which is how writing and fiction works. Like that's just how writing works. Everybody can't grow at the same pace, and everybody can't have fulfilled real life journeys
right,
at the same amount of time. Otherwise, you have no story left to tell.
right.
But I love the like even from the beginning of this movie to the end of this movie, how clever he has gotten because of his dealings with Loki,
Oh yeah,
because of his dealings with the Avengers, with Ultron, with again Loki,
yeah.
for a third and fourth time.
Pickpocketing
Um,
Valkyrie, slapping the little like
Pickpocketing
what did they
Valkyrie
say? Like
is
the compliance chips
crazy.
or whatever
Yeah,
they gave it a stupid name. Like when he slaps on Loki's back right before they do the get help thing and that on the elevator. And I agree. Like he's become crafty. He's become more cunning. but like there's also not a mean spiritedness to that cunning either.
Oh
Like a lot
no.
of characters, like I think there's a way that you could write a character like Thor where he loses his kind of like lunky nature of, I'm not the guy who's going to defuse a bomb or figure out some type of mathematical equation and an algorithm to solve a battle. I'm going to go in and I'm going to electrocute and smash the shit out of the bad guy. But to become more cunning, you could very well see a version of this story where that cunning comes at the cost of his kindness. That cunning comes at the cost of his heart, of his warrior spirit. And that doesn't happen. And in fact, what I love so much is Thor's ego death. What I love so much is watching Thor's pride. Like pride in as a vice go away. Because again, the Thor in the first movie who wanted to go to war with Jotunheim had so little to do with the security of Asgard and more with Asgard's pride.
Yep. I mean, that's his crucial vice, and it always had been pride and wrath. But like now we see him for a man who does just care about these people
Yeah.
in a way that you don't get all the time. Like you
No.
just can't. You can't. There is like when him and Valkyrie are down there, and she's like, "So what now?" He's like, "Well, we stay here until they're gone. Until Asgardians they're gone. Until they're gone, we stay right here, and we keep fighting her until Loki gets the big guy,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
extra big guy,
And again, and I
the
think
supersize me."
and also I again, like him coming to terms that we have to destroy the physical land of Asgard, something he would
There
never be
is no way
capable of
around the
doing.
prophecy, which is something that I also really appreciate about this film as a totality. Like Thor, in the entire beginning is, I've been having these dreams. I've been seeing this thing. I've been seeing the death of Asgard. I have been seeing Ragnarok come to pass. I have been seeing this. This is like he is. It is not. He is seeing it as a foreboding warning that like you can stop this. He is like coming to grips with for the through the entire film. I am not seeing what could come to pass. I am seeing what will come to pass.
Right.
There is no secret third option. It is this or she wins.
Right.
And I have seen what comes to pass, and what comes to pass is that she will lose. And I think that is what is like that is where we get into that, like we're delving into like the god aspects of his character, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Um
Which again, and I love that you bring that up because so many people say this is the beginning of Thor losing his godliness. That he
I
stops
fully would
feeling like
disagree.
that. And I fully agree with you.
I would fully do, and that's what I appreciate so much about this movie is that I feel like we are getting like Thor himself is coming into the nature of his power set of the fact that the hammer. What are you, the god of hammers? You are not Thor, the god of hammers. You are Thor, the god of thunder and the lightning. And it's like for me, the destruction of the hammer so early in the movie was very necessary for character growth. And I, again, this is something we'll talk about in 2 episodes, hate that there was a need and desire to get him it or something like it back. Because I'm like, he is fine. Obviously, and at the end, he was using swords, he was using whatever other weapon. Like, for me, it's one of those situations where it's like, all right, cool, we can just give him dope ass shit at any time now. Like he can have like a cycle of dope things to use to direct the lightning without it being a big dumb hammer. Always and forever, because special hammer needs special hammer. Um it to me, like I love the growth of him going from what are you, Thor the god of hammers, to ah.
You cut out when you began to do the immigrant song thing, but I can hear you doing it. I know you're doing the thing. It's still peeking out, honey. We're
We're gonna
gonna
get a
pause.
copyright strike.
We're gonna get a copyright strike because of you doing
on
the
me.
cover.
On me.
Hold on. We're gonna pause for 1 second. But no, I do agree with the destruction of the hammer, and like I'm not 100.
I
I
hate
like-
the eye. I hate it.
I like Stormbreaker. I like Stormbreaker a lot. That's a 2 weeks from now conversation. 2 weeks for y'all. Tomorrow for us. But 2 weeks for that's a 2 episodes from now conversation. But for me, like the reason I love the hammer so much is that what I think really defines Thor and what I love so much about him, and it's a very subtle thing and it's an unspoken thing, is when he suffers his exile in the first movie and he is cast out and he has his godhood stripped away from him.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Thor, in a couple ways, the pendulum swings back a little too far in the other direction in the way that he views himself.
Do you think he thinks he's the
And
god of hammers?
not that I think. I mean, in
Do
Odin's
you
view,
think-
yes.
Do you think he thinks he's the god of hammers?
I do. Do I think he's the god of
Do
hammers?
you
No.
think
Do I
Thor
think Thor
thinks-
thinks that Thor is the god
Do
of
you
hammers?
think
Yes.
Thor thinks that Thor is the god of hammers?
Absolutely, I do.
I hate it. I hate it.
Not in a literal sense,
No,
but I
I
do think
know,
that
but I get what you mean.
is that he. I do think he thinks he is diminished, and I think when he's like, okay, like disaster is coming, and I have to stop it, and I need to get in there, and I need to fix this problem, and I need to clean up this mess, and the Infinity Stones, and like Thor knows that there are at least 2 to 3 catastrophic things coming.
Yo, shit's happening.
The 9 realms are in disarray. Like the Infinity Stones and Thanos is looming out there, and Ragnarok is upon us. And if he personally cannot solve this problem, it will be his fault when Asgard falls and countless people die.
Facts.
And when he loses Mjolnir, I think
Meow,
he
meow.
considers himself I think he considers himself very much diminished, and that he has no hope of being able to meet this threat. Even though he's going to run into it headlong without the hammer, on some level, I think that like when he has that conversation with Odin,
When she crushes Mew Mew in front of him, I also would be disheartened.
yeah, and I think that him realizing you're not the hammer, you're not these symbols, like you are the journey you have gone on up to this point.
Yes.
It isn't about the hammer, it isn't about the weapons, it isn't about it isn't about the palace you were raised in.
Yes.
It was about the people you swore an oath to protect. It is about the power that resides in you, not just as a god, but as a man and as a warrior and as a leader.
Yeah.
It is in your compassion. It is in your willingness to forgive, especially when it comes to Loki. Because with the Loki relationship here, like we were talking about it, how like he gives Loki a wide open door to just make his own decision.
Oh, he
And
and not only does he give him a wide open door and full autonomy, the entire movie, he is just so happy to see him as soon as he figures out. The moment he gets to Asgard and he sees Odin laying there in his bathrobe, he's like, this fucking bitch.
yeah.
And from that moment on, like Thor is like, this is my brother. This is the guy. This is my guy.
Yeah.
This is my guy. So like when he sees him with the Grandmaster, like as soon as he sees them tied down to the chair in the Grandmaster's throne room or whatever, he's like, okay.
Help me. And but again, on the topic of like Thor's ability to like actually lead, not just be a competent warrior who people know that he knows what he's doing, but be someone who inspires people to want to follow him into battle. He is even able to finally get Loki to make the right decision.
Absolutely. Yes. Well,
And it
because we
doesn't
see,
and
I
it
feel
doesn't
like,
come by virtue of him begging him, and it
yeah,
doesn't come by
no.
virtue of Loki having the opportunity to like get one up on somebody for it.
Loki
Loki
knows
tries
where
to double
Thor is
cross him.
going. Yeah.
Loki tries to double cross him. Thor one ups him, incapacitates him, and just goes, "Listen, we've been doing this song and dance enough. You made your choices. I'm done holding your hand through this." And
Yeah. Fuck you. Stay here.
I think in that moment, Loki is not just motivated by the opportunity to get out of a sticky situation he created for himself. I do think on some level, Loki goes, "No, I do want to do the right thing."
I
Because
agree. So
I'm tired of suffering for making the wrong decision.
fully when it is when Korg picks up the thing, and Loki is like, not only do I have a newfound genuine respect for Thor
Yeah.
because he fucking double crossed me like that, and he got me goddamn good.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is where he was like, no, fuck this, let's go. You guys are fighter guys, I
You
see.
look like you're in desperate need of leadership.
And he's like, you guys have a bunch of shit, so like, let's get on the biggest thing we can find in here because I know what's in here.
Yeah. Because and
Well,
Loki
Korg
shows
was
up
like, we're
with a
gonna get on
ship.
that big ass ship, but like Loki comes down and is the because again we see in the beginning Loki was not a bad ruler. He just was not a good king. Like he would have been a fine duke. He would have been a fine lord. He would have been a fine ruler of a stable group of people, but not multicultural, multi-planet
Yeah.
anything.
This is not somebody. This is not the leader of the free world
This is
level
the leader
leadership.
who of his fiefdom,
Yeah.
where they grow grapes and drink wine. Like
Yeah.
that is where he wants to be, and that's where he wants to exist. Like that would be his perfect universe. Like in the end, Thor is like, this would be great for you, brother, if you wanted to stay here. Shit, stay here. This is your fucking crazy town. If you want to
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne it up, hop on the train. And I think that
You
Loki,
just made me think of that clip from the
huh?
podcast.
No.
That other podcast. No, we would watch that clip together where it's the guy going like, "I am now as an adult realizing," he says, "all aboard," and not the.
Oh, yes, I
It's just like
remember.
that. Ah!
Donut. Yeah, and you just thought he was just screaming? Yeah.
I love that. I've never watched an episode of that show. Great, the clips are hilarious.
Um,
Anyway,
but Thor, like Loki would be a good and fine benevolent king. Genuinely. We see that in his little fucking song and dance. But like the issue, for the him coming back and he finally does get to be the statue he made in
yeah.
Asgard. Like he finally gets to fulfill all of the like Loki gets to check off all the boxes he ever wanted.
Well, and what I think is so compelling about with Loki specifically with that is that, and again, it's very subtle and it's not spoken on, and it's what I love so much about Thor and Loki's relationship in this is it's so much brilliant groundwork has been laid by Kenneth Branagh,
Oh
by I think
yes.
David Yost who did I think it was David Yost who did Dark World,
We
Whedon,
cannot
that
thank
like
Kenneth Branagh enough.
I mean, but
What a I'm so
it's
sorry.
everybody who
It
touched
is
these
him
characters up
the
to this
most
point.
to me.
Sure. But like what I'm saying is like so much groundwork has been laid for these characters that you can truly have just amazing moments that require not a word to be spoken on the matter. Because what you see with Loki during his time masquerading as Odin, masquerading as the king of Asgard, is that none of this is actually fulfilling.
No.
He's just bullshitting. He is, for all intents and purposes, emotionally masturbating.
Well, I think he's having a final time.
Sure, he's having a final time. But what you were saying, like with the statue thing,
Yeah.
like I think Loki is realizing that like this life of like constantly trying to get one over on the other guy, that like this is deeply unfulfilling.
Yeah.
There is no
Yes.
actual happiness here for me.
Yes. Yes.
Like I am not going to find like I'm not getting Odin's approval now. You know, there's no option for that. He's gone.
I shipped him off to like fucking Long Island.
You know, I shipped him off to a retirement home in Long Island, then it got torn down, and now he's dead. Now Odin's gone. So I
Yeah.
can't get fulfillment from him. You know, Thor legitimately could not give a shit less about this back and forth anymore.
No. Yeah.
He
He's-
barely gave a shit to begin with. And every time he has gone out of his way thinking I needed the same lesson that Odin gave Thor. You know, and in some ways, that is what happened. You know,
Yeah.
it is Thor casting Loki aside and going, listen, man, I'm not doing this with you anymore. There are more important things. If you insist on like craving attention from everybody by being an absolute nightmare, catastrophic menace, then do it here.
Loki's being
With the
too monkey.
Grandmaster. Huh?
He's being too monkey.
He's being too monkey. And he had to leave him behind. And I think in that moment, Loki goes, a fulfilling life is one of actually helping people, of actually being a statesman.
Yeah.
And reclaiming that. You know, Loki is not trying to weasel his way out of getting
It's not
hurt.
even necessarily a statesman, but a warrior for Asgard, for
Yeah.
his people.
Yeah. And actually but taking the
And
time to
own
actually do right by them.
Yeah, and like own the fact that like
he's still showy
he
about
is
it.
Loki of Asgard.
Yeah, you know, he's still a showman about it.
And
He's still a diva. You know, your savior is here, and he's
which
using the helmet to like parry swords.
is so hot.
You know, but what I love
him using the helmet to grab a guy by the knee and pull him in a full like 180 degree. I was like, yeah.
And the way it pays off so beautifully, in my opinion, is that Loki is the one to destroy Asgard.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely
You know,
he is.
and I think that there's something really beautiful about giving Loki, again, it's not lingered on, it's not discussed, but it's just one of those, like, you don't even need to talk about it type of beats, where it's like, yes, Loki, go use the incredibly powerful
Loki,
super magic, use the magic super weapon to cause calamity, because that is what we need you to do.
Loki, smash.
Loki, smash. But
literally, like it is. I think it's, and I think it's so beautiful, like that not only does Thor have the utmost and absolute faith in Loki in that moment,
yeah,
but that he knows that it is. He knows that it would be him and Valkyrie's last stand as well.
Yeah.
Because again, they would think at this point they think Hulk is with Fenrir at the bottom of the universe.
Yeah.
Getting
tore the
Jared's
fuck
favorite
up.
character, Fenrir.
Yeah, I said in the audio commentary, Fenrir creeps me out.
You don't like the big ass wolf?
I don't like big ass wolves. I don't like all of his teeth. I don't like things with a lot of teeth.
Literally, if I could have a big ass wolf, I would, and I want one actually.
I know. But
Jared
and
someday
again,
will have to buy me one.
listen, I am okay with Irish Wolfhound. I am not okay with a wolf the size of a sedan.
Well, Fenrir is big. I would say Fenrir is more like the size of the Chicago bean.
Yeah, my point exactly. I'm saying the sedan is a starting point of the teeth are too big and they freak me out. And this will kind of segue into the Hela part of the equation, but like
Hela,
I think
more like hell yeah.
Okay, hold on. Hold your horses. Hold your gigantic, terrifying wolves. But
they're barking, let me tell you that.
I know. But what I love so much about Loki being the one to put the helmet on the Eternal Flame is that not only is it basically, like you said, Loki smash, where it's like, okay, Loki, go do the thing that we all would have been afraid of you doing.
Yeah, go do that thing that you always wanted to do, but we were like, don't.
because again, Loki also understands this is not about this utopian floating island. It's about the people who are getting loaded onto this transport ship
that Loki brought here.
that Loki brought here. Loki had a
Because
Han
again-
Solo moment. Loki gets to have his Han Solo moment.
Because Korg and them, they're escaping no matter what. They're going
Yeah.
somewhere. They're fucking off. And Loki is like, actually,
They could use some
we
help.
should go. Yeah, we should go save some people. You guys remember not Dave?
Doug.
Fuck.
But
You guys remember Doug? Well, this is not Doug, and not Doug is still not dead. So let's go get not Doug.
But I think it also goes very well with tearing down the artifice of what Asgard is.
Yeah.
The artifice of it. Because what I love so much about this is when Odin says, like you, Hela draws her power from Asgard.
Yeah.
It is such a beautiful dichotomy created by that. Because on one hand, you have Thor, who does sincerely gain his power from Asgard, and Hela gains her power from the magical location of Asgard.
Yeah.
And
Thor gains his power from the spirit of Asgard, and Hela gains her power from the noun Asgard.
right. And what I
Like-
love so much is that I think you can draw a line between, what Hell was talking about. Oh, he was a conqueror. He was he was all of these things. And then he decided he wanted to be a benevolent ruler. And you can draw a line from her talking about Odin the conqueror to Odin spares Laufey's child.
The king, Odin the king. Yeah.
And takes his child in and raises him as his own because it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
had Hela been present, that would have never been a thing that could have happened.
Right. But beyond that, like you can see that you can see
Because Hela
when
would have
Odin the
killed that
Conqueror
fucking
dies.
kid.
Of course. But what I'm trying to say is that like Loki gets to tear down the worst parts of Odin and what he built, while all of the good of Odin and all of the good of Asgard legitimately live in Loki and Odin, or
Mhm.
Loki and Thor.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
and it is such a beautiful refutation of what Hela is saying. And I think that it is really
Like there's a
poignant.
magic and benevolence that like there's a magic and awe and a benevolence that lives in Loki, and there's a righteousness and a power and a protection, like a protectiveness in Thor that you could only get by distilling Odin into
Yeah.
and Frigga, obviously by
Of course.
proxy, but like by distilling those pieces of Odin and Frigga instead of concentrating them, because I think that is what Hela is. Hela would be the concentrated power of both Odin and Frigga, of power and conquest and
Yeah.
benevolence, but benevolence in a way that is final. Like you can be a benevolent yet monstrous king or queen because you are hard and fast with judgment.
Right.
People don't commit crime when the only answer to crime is I don't care. If you were in the room where it happened, you are no longer going to be in a room.
Right.
Whereas Odin learned that is not the way to be a just and merciful king. That is simply the way to be an omniscient king. Like you are just simply power for power's sake.
I agree with everything you're saying. And what I love so much is that Hela, the idea of Odin changing for the better is an anathema to her.
Yeah.
Whereas
the
reason she's defeated is because Thor and Loki both changed for the better and changed to be more like the best parts of Odin.
Yep.
Where she is stuck being the worst parts of him.
Yep.
Loki and Thor are in a position where they can defeat her because Thor changed from being as much like Hela as he was when we first met him.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, again, maybe it's because I'm Star Wars pilled and I like when my visual metaphors are loud as a fucking fire alarm. But, it is Thor losing his eye. She's like, God, you even look like him now. And it's like, yeah, because it's a marker of you have become the best parts of him and have exceeded him because of it. And because you also have the parts of you that you only could have gotten because you're not just Asgard's hero, you're Earth's hero too.
Well, it's also for me the parallel of the God you even look like him now is the first time she sees them because she is imprisoned on Earth,
Yeah.
which is why she is able to be in prison, like you cannot contain Hela in the depths of Asgard. She is imprisoned on Earth.
Right.
And that is like her being imprisoned away from the army of the dead and Fenrir is the only reason that the Valkyrie were able to beat her back into submission on Earth.
Yeah.
And something that I have to say for the Valkyrie, first of all, that the camera, everything, the lighting, everything, that scene is like Taika Waititi helped create and design a new lighting technique so we could get the big circle lighting effects in the Valkyrie and Hela fight. Did you know that?
I knew that at one point in time and forgot it and was reminded just now.
Um, so I like it's shot so beautifully. Like the Valkyrie of it all, I think is very beautiful and very important because Tessa Thompson has openly said multiple times that the Valkyrie who defends her
It like shoves her out of the way of the magic sword.
was her girlfriend, partner, wife, whatever you may have, whatever step in the relationship they determined they were off screen. But it is so like the power that we get to see from like all of these characters is so beautiful. Like, God, it's so good. But sorry, tangent. Back to where I started. Her first showing up after immediately after Odin dies. Thor says, I Thor Odinson, son of Odin, and she says, "Oh, you don't look like him." And then Loki is like, do you want to talk? What can we? Oh, you sound like him. And then by the end of the film, taking his eye and saying, "Oh, now I see it. Now I see the resemblance." Badass, dude.
It
One of my
is
4 different tangents right there.
no, you're good. It's just like I said, I just love it so much because like, Hela is so much fun. Like Kate Beckinsale, she has
Kate
such a
Blanchett.
Blanchett. That's what I meant. I knew I had it wrong on the side.
Kate
Fuck.
Beckinsale is Underworld and Van Helsing.
Yeah, but Blanchett had like there's just such a sinister charm to her here.
Oh, she's
She's so
so
much fun to
good.
watch. But like again, the core of her character, the core of what she represents is what defines, in my opinion, this trilogy. And I'm excited to see if these themes fully develop into the fourth movie when we get there, because I see so much like you evolve or you die. And you become a better person, you learn and you grow, or you are stuck. And we see that Thor evolved past Hela in his first couple adventures, and we see Loki finally get past that like sense of like almost terminal aggrievement
Yeah.
of basically this like, well, what did Asgard ever do for me anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what did you do for me lately? Shit. Pardon my hiccups. That gives him the clarity to go back and help. We see, even to a lesser extent, we see Banner have one of the have a moment he's had many times where
Him
he
and
has to
Valkyrie, by the
accept.
way, where is
So
that
funny.
relationship now? Where is that? Where is that at? Why, what the fuck? Why is he not staying in New Asgard with his BFF Valkyrie? Like, they should be roommates. Dead ass, they should be roommates.
I'd like it.
I, they should have their own little spin-off comedy.
But
her and Bruce getting to know each other, her and Hulk working out together. Like, I think that would just be a fun, like, you know, she is looking for love. She's trying to help him get back on the market. Betsy isn't really still calling him because we are still not sure whether or not Liv Tyler is returning. I think they should be in a buddy comedy.
first of all, I'm just gonna point it out because we went over it again. It is Betty.
Damn it! I thought I fucking got it right this time.
Betsy made the flag.
Fuck.
But
I'm just gonna call her
no,
Liv Tyler.
I do really love it, and I will say, Waititi doesn't have a writing credit on this movie, but he does say there was a lot of ad libbing, and you can tell Waititi's voice is very much here.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the guy, say what you will about his sense of humor, where and when it shouldn't be applied, what stories he should be telling, big air quotes on that. That man does action really well.
So
Like the
good.
fight scenes in this are so good, and like I say
So
this
good.
because I didn't get a chance to listen to all of it, but I was listening to the Force Center that came out today at time of record, talking about the projects that Kathleen Kennedy said are either still in development or they're happening in quotes, whatever. And we'll unpack that at a later date on an episode of KNR, probably tomorrow night at time of record. It'll be out much sooner than then. But what I love is the idea of Taika Waititi doing Star Wars action, and I'm like, like he's talked about how he wants to make a Star Wars comedy, and who knows what the fuck that means and what that would look like. But like,
Honestly,
god
I hope it's
damn,
oh god, what was the show he did on HBO Max?
this flag means death.
I want that in Star Wars. I want it gay, horny, and I want space pirates.
Just catch back up with John and Norwood,
Heated rivalry.
but with John and Norwood, and somebody has to keep saying that name.
John Norwood.
But yeah, no, I love this movie.
Asgard's dead. Asgard's gone.
The place is not the people.
The place, the noun. Asgard, the noun.
Yeah.
The proper
But
noun.
legitimately, I think that's all I have for Ragnarok. Like it's just like this movie's so good.
This movie. This
There's
movie's so many much fun.
I said most of what I had going in was just unpacking all the big ideas of it, but this is really good.
Love this movie. Genuinely, I think the only thing that makes me mad is the end credit scene where we get the Thanos' ship creeping up, because I am mad. Like, I genuinely am mad. I hate it. I want my baby. I just want them to. Can they just catch one single break? Like, for the love of
Asgard,
Christ.
New Asgard gets established in the 5 years after. I mean,
how many people were left alive? Because it's not all. Well, it's not even remotely half.
It's half.
No, it's not.
No, Thanos doesn't kill everybody on that ship.
He killed the one person that matters to me.
Loki gave his life though, and that's different. That is Loki but Loki the end point of this arc.
Everybody get ready for my audio commentary track of just me sniffling.
The end point of Loki's arc
because
is
this Loki is my favorite Loki.
Well, I will say one last thing to tee that up.
This is my favorite. Like, this Loki from this film is my favorite Loki.
My favorite Loki is the one that's in the show.
But I haven't seen season 2 because I don't like that girl.
You have not, but you will appreciate where his arc ends there. Because it's pretty much the same arc, which I love, but it is blown up to such huge proportions.
Lightning McQueen's there, I know that.
Right. But what I do like to kind of tee up Infinity War conversations that will be relevant soonish, I do like that so much of Thor's arc in that movie and into Endgame is it feels like he reached that final conclusion, and then it almost feels like his final test is, who do you become when it's taken away from you?
I hate it.
And watching him kind of
He's
revert.
like he does it, but that's my thing. I hate it so much because I just want him to be happy. Yeah.
I know, I understand. I agree. I also want Thor to be happy.
I
Thor
just
as a
want his
character is a
brother to
character who
play
constantly
catch.
needs to be challenged, though.
I want him to play catch in the field.
But that's all stuff we'll get into in Infinity War. But if that's all, Taylor, is that all you got for Ragnarok then?
Yeah. We
Well,
stopped. We're ending at the end, so I'm sad.
I mean, we have Black Panther to look forward to next week.
That's a really good movie.
But
Baku is my fave. Winston Duke. Yes.
but we will get to all of that then. But in the meantime, Taylor, where can the lovely people find you, my dear?
They can find me on Blue Sky at Quicksilver Girl GRRL at whatever the end of Blue Sky stuff is. Jarod, where
Yeah.
can the lovely people find you?
You guys can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram at Dark Jedi 2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as our website, thenerdacademypodcast.com. If you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page, where $5 patrons get early access to every episode of The Road to Doomsday, as well as exclusive access to our audio commentary series, and our $10 patrons get that, as well as shout outs at the end of every episode. Speaking of, thank you to Paco and Ray Clausen. You can also catch hello to Taylor's best friends.
With both Patreon subscriber levels, you do also unlock the ability to call me your best friend because we're best friends.
That too.
Every time you listen to an audio commentary, an angel gets his wings, and I also gain a new best friend.
You can also find Taylor and I on Luminous Odyssey, the High Republic RPG show we're doing over on all remaining systems. Very excited for that.
Guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what his species is. I was going to try to say it, but I don't remember.
Itachi.
Mm-hmm. And I play a sexy cat lady.
Yes, she does. A little bit of a pincushion these days, but yes, she does.
All I wanted to say, but I didn't want to start out with that.
By the time this is out, you will also be able to catch Michael and I on our debut match as teammates in Epic Confrontations, playing against Boy Paraxium. So tune in to the Star Wars in a Galaxy YouTube channel for that. And catch me on Pro and Noob with Mitch on the Mitch692 channel as we continue our coverage of Attack on Titan. But that is all we have for this episode. Like I said, next week we go to Wakanda for the first time to watch the cultural phenomenon that is and was Black Panther.
Actually, I do have a pretty funny story about where I was when Black Panther came out.
So excited. But until then, we will see you on the next steps on the road to Doomsday.
Bye-bye.
Stop! Move away from the cookie jar!